in the head will play more tricks than a ball that's moving more than it's not.
All right, final point. I want you to go through each one as it pertains to hitting with 2 strikes. How do high school hitters, how do college hitters and professional hitters approach? What kind of advice and plan would you give them when it comes to 2-strike hitting?
I don't like that question.
You usually like my questions, so
Okay,
I'm
it
a little
was a good
surprised
question.
by
All
that.
right.
What don't you like about it? Was it too loaded?
It was just your delivery, Jim.
Was it
I don't
too
like your
informational?
delivery.
Well, I can't help that.
I
That's
don't
how
like your
God made
face, and
me.
I'm looking right at your face.
That's how God made me. I can't help that. You know, you should host a podcast with the #1 quarterback, QB1, my sister. That would be.
That's right. We'll
There you
get her
go.
on next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so amateur hitters with 2 strikes, you know, if you're 10 years old, if you're 10 to 13 years old, man, don't strike out. Have fun. You got a bat in your hand. The pitchers, for the most part, aren't going to be totally overpowering you. Maybe if you're playing travel ball, there's going to be 1 pitcher, maybe 2 in that entire tournament that's going to just own everybody. Okay, and don't worry about him, but or her. So get out there and swing the bat and have fun. You have 2 strikes. I would take away the outside pitch. Okay. In fact, we can bump this up to the high school age as well. If you have 2 strikes, take away that outside corner pitch. Okay. Let the ball travel a little bit. Take away ball 6 or ball 7. You know the umpire is going to call it a strike when it's on the river between the corner and the batter's box line on the outside corner. Take that pitch away from him. Look out there. Why? Well, on the outside fastball, you got to let it travel, right? Well, what do you have to do on a breaking ball? You got to wait and let it travel too. So if you're letting an outside pitch travel with 2 strikes and they throw you a hanger, your barrel should run right into it if you have decent swing mechanics. Okay. So that is my advice for anyone, you know, below the college level. Now, where are you going to get beat? You're going to get beat with an inside fastball. So look back at your life. If you're 17 or younger, how many times over the past year have you punched out on an inside corner fastball with 2 strikes? Okay. Think about that. How many times have you been punched out? Is it a lot? Is it once a game? Or I shouldn't say once a game. Is it once a weekend? Is it once a year? Is it what, right? Versus how many times are you chasing sliders in the dirt because maybe we're not looking middle away with 2 strikes? So the great part about looking middle away is you got time. You can let it get deep. You're not trying to hit a ball over the fence, right? You're trying to let it get deep and shoot a line drive to the opposite field. Don't get too fancy with 2 strikes. Okay. If you're a professional, now it's different. You know, we've faced that pitcher multiple times this year. We probably have some scouting reports on this pitcher. What does he typically like to do? And more importantly, what has he done against me? You know, go back and look at your at-bats against him. Don't look at, you know, Johnny's at-bats against him. How has he pitched against you? Okay, well, he tries to attack me slow early in the count and fast late in the count. Okay, take that with you. Now, what do good major league pitchers do? Well, they switch that up. You know, a lot of times you see Verlander will throw breaking balls early in the count to get ahead, and then fastballs he'll change. And then the second time through the lineup, he might do something totally different. Okay, so we have to be on the lookout for that. But for the most part, if you're in the minor leagues, we probably don't, you know, our scouting reports aren't intense. We just have to, you know with 2 strikes, you know, maybe we're trying to take away that pitch middle away. If the guy's not throwing 95, if he's throwing 90, let's take away the pitch middle away. If he's throwing 95, okay, we may have to be a little bit more aggressive early in the count so we don't get to 2 strikes. So to each their own at the different levels. But I will say the majority of players under the college level, you know, if you're playing the SEC and guys are really bringing it, or the Pac-12 or the ACC, you know, and guys are consistently throwing in the mid-90s, then, you know, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But I would rather get beat with 2 strikes. Again, this is a broad spectrum because I'm not talking to an exact hitter, but I would rather get beat with 2 strikes on a fastball for a strike that I'm late on than a breaking ball that I'm out in front on. I think those percentages will play, because I think if it's a fastball for a strike and I have a decent swing, I can probably still foul that off. Even though I'm going to be late, I can foul it back, you know, towards the opposite side. But I would rather not be out in front on a breaking ball, because if I'm out in front on a slider at, say, 85, and then he throws an 82-mile-an-hour curveball, that pitcher can keep taking stuff off his breaking ball. What he can't do, if I'm just a little bit late on his 90-mile-an-hour fastball in college, he can't hump up to 94 and blow it by me. He can't do that. That's his top speed. So if I can be late on his fastest pitch, then I can time up his slowest pitch. But if he keeps throwing slower and slow, if I'm out in front on a breaking ball, he can take some more off that breaking ball, and then I'm going to miss the next one. So
Well,
know the
and
kind of hitter you are.
yeah.
Have a good swing plane, have good mechanics. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there, right? If you're at the professional level. But that's why it's important at the young age to really get that swing plane dialed in. And then you can use your brain and you can use your feel to create a plan to be successful with two strikes.